We're officially halfway through the year, and if you've set goals for yourself this year, you may be ready for a new start, a new opportunity to get back on track. And while the idea of resetting is exciting, I want to gently remind you to do it from a place of love, a place of compassion for yourself, and a place of gratitude for everything that is going right. In a world where it can feel like you're never doing enough, I want to call on you to show up for this second half of the year from a place of abundance and not scarcity. Hi, welcome to my Q3 Plan With Me, a quarterly reset. It's really a mid-year reset, which I'm so excited for. So if you are looking for a fresh start, please join me and let's plan these next 12 weeks. So before I move into planning and being intentional about how I want this new quarter to look, I always take a look back at how was my last quarter, see what I can learn, see what I can continue, what was working, and just kind of reflect on what's been going well. So let's take a look at my last quarter's goals. So I will take this out. Just so I have my quarterly planning in the Mod Ambition Planner. These quarterly goals that I set are always based on my goal planning for the beginning of the year. So those larger than life goals that I have for the year. Then I break them down by quarter of what I want to prioritize each quarter, what's most important for me, and how I want to build upon the last quarters. This quarterly planning is based on my yearly goals. So let's see how I did. So my first quarterly goal this past quarter was to pray each morning, work out 3 times a week, and read nightly, which sounds a lot for one goal, but the main goal was to just prioritize my joy, which is my yearly goal. Reading nightly, super easy because I love to read, and it's kind of like been my relief system, like my self-care, just being able to do that before going to bed. So I will say I did do that. Working out was hit or miss. It's been better in the last 2 months. Again, I've been using it more of an outlet instead of looking at it like, oh, I want to lose weight. Even trying to say I want to get in shape doesn't really motivate me, because at the end of the day, I guess I have really self-confidence, like high self-confidence. I feel like, if I'm bigger, I still look cute, and when I'm smaller, I look cute. So it doesn't really motivate me to work out thinking about it in that sense. But if I think about it as like a stress reliever and that I know it's going to help me and help my health, that actually gets me to do it. So that I would give myself a check, but probably just more so in the last month and a half. And then praying each morning I've been really great about. I have a reminder on my phone from the Bible app, and then I also read my devotional each morning. It's been part of this new routine that I've set up for myself. I kind of revamped my whole daily routine recently using my habits and routines organizer, which if you want a copy, I will leave a link below for that you can get your own for free. So revamping my routines also really helped with that, because I've been really intentional about solidifying this new routine that I've set for myself. My second quarterly goal was all about family. So having my kids learn their letters, going to Texas for my son's second birthday party, Father's Day, date nights, FaceTiming with my family, and celebrating Mother's Day. I would say my family quarterly goals I'm really happy with. Great to see family, celebrate with family. It just was nice to have my kids see my family and bond and all those things. Layla has learned all her letter sounds and moved on to blending her sounds. So learning the first step and actually reading. Well, I guess the second step, because your first step is learning the letters, but learning the second step of blending sounds. My third quarterly goal was related to my income, increasing my net income this year. And I wanted to sell 29 planners per week. So the ways that I was getting there was to track my KPIs weekly, which I've gotten in a good routine of doing, and it's kind of built into this new daily routine that I mentioned to you guys. So that's good. My social goals have been in and out. I have a social goal now of posting 5 times a month on YouTube and going live on Instagram. I'm going live on YouTube weekly. The weekly kind of happens every other week because life sometimes gets in the way, but I'm happy with that, and I'm not putting a bunch of pressure on myself where I feel like I have to clock in, because that's the exact opposite of the energy energy I'm trying to build on YouTube. I want to feel like I'm having fun. I did have a goal of posting 2 times a week outside of YouTube lives on YouTube, and that was just too much considering my life. It's like, be for real, which is kind of like a theme that I'm moving into this quarter, is just be more realistic. Like, I have 2 kids, 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. I'm a full-time psychologist. I have a full coaching business, coaching women in my Dream Life Academy. I have this side business, building my goal planners and promoting that to the world. So to think that I could then also film, edit, and post 2 videos a week and do a YouTube live, it's like, be for real. And I don't want to burn out, and I don't want to operate from a place of a limiting belief that I'm not doing enough, that I'm not enough, and what I'm putting out is not good enough. So I've really had to reflect on that and check myself and practice what I preach to my clients, which is to not manically force, but to really tune into any limiting beliefs that might be burning me out, and any limiting beliefs that perpetuating unrealistic goals. And then connecting more was just to build my YouTube subscribers. I think that I had a goal of getting to 3,000 subscribers. I'm not quite there yet, but I am optimistic that my new way of being on this platform, my new way of showing up in this world, is going to help me get there in a more organic way. Okay, so that's how I did it for my quarterly goals last quarter. I'm going to put that back. So take a minute for yourself, reflect on how did you do in this last quarter? What were your goals for this past 12 weeks? Did you meet them? And if not, what got in the way? And in thinking about that, that's going to help you think about, am I going to continue these goals and just change the way that I'm going about them so that I can actually reach them? Or am I going to modify them in a way that takes into consideration all the things you just reflected on and maybe need to change a few things? So, okay. Let's move on to looking at your yearly goals before we jump into planning this quarter. So the first one is to prioritize my joy and my health. For some people, that's really easy. That doesn't really seem like a hard goal, like self-care essentially. However, for me, it is something that I really have to be intentional about, and really know that for me, having OCD, number one, it's really important for me to take care of myself. Me being a mom, you got to put your mask on first. Scale back and make sure that I'm putting time and energy not just in building my career or my profession, but also making sure that I'm keeping my glass full. My second goal is happy family life, which is pretty self-explanatory. Building beautiful memories for my family is really, really important to me. My third goal is to increase my net income, so to really focus on not just increasing my revenue as a psychologist and my coaching business with my planners, but to make sure that I'm doing it in a sustainable way, that I'm increasing my net income. My fourth goal for the year is to connect more, so more FaceTimes with my family in Texas, more phone calls, which reminds me I need to call my girlfriend Kashonda back, and more, YouTube building community here, just more connection with folks overall. And then my fifth yearly goal is to read more. So with those things in mind, let's jump into planning this quarter. And of course, before you move on with me, take a second to reflect on your own yearly goals. What are those larger than life goals that you've set for yourself, either in your goal planner, in the Mod Ambition Planner, or maybe you have them written down somewhere. All right, if you have the Mod Ambition Planner, you probably have the refill, so you can just pop open your refill packet. This is mine, and we are going to plan this next quarter. Let me just take a second and put it in my goal planner. Okay, so if you have the Mod Ambition Planner, the refill packets come with the quarterly planning and also the 3 months of planning, so you can have that 12-week year planning to stay on track with those quarterly goals. So today we're just going to be talking about the quarterly planning here. There's a spot to remind yourself of your word of the year on this side, and then it moves into quarterly planning here. So my word of the year is push. Let me get a new pen. And as the year moves on, as it develops, I look at this word differently. So the beginning, there was a lot of, I would say, manic manifesting energy around this push. I wanted to create a new normal for myself as far as output goes, as far as what I'm able to do now that my kids are a little bit older. But now that I am looking at this word, it is expanding to mean other things as well. It also means for me pushing myself creatively, pushing myself in the quality of what I'm doing, pushing myself to show up more authentically, pushing myself to give more, to receive more. So it's not just about pushing in a sense of productivity, which is great, but that also needs balance, right? How can I push myself in a way that serves all parts of me, not just the sort of manly energy, but also serving the feminine energy of myself as well. And then the second question under that is, how does this word support your goals for this year? For me, how does this word support my goals this year? So I just wrote down, it's helping to remind me that I'm expanding and becoming in multiple ways. So think about, what is your own word of the year and how is it really showing up for you this quarter, which may be the same or different than last quarter. All right, so moving into quarter 3. Okay, so the first prompt we're going to think about when it comes to planning our quarter is, what is our intention for the quarter? For me, this quarter is moving into the summer, and it kind of reminds me of like summer solstice, like, you know, where we experience the most sun. And for me, that really means like a summer awakening, really leaning into a spiritual growth mindset, a holistic mindset, taking care of myself, just awakening. Coming out of that dormant stage that has been the theme of probably the last couple of quarters, that have focused more on, you know, getting my business off the ground, pushing myself a little bit more. I feel like my summer quarter is more focused on an awakening, allowing myself to flourish. So my intention this quarter is summer awakening. What's your intention for the quarter? The next prompt is to think about what you're excited for this quarter. That always helps me get revved up and really lean into the energy of what I'm trying to manifest for this quarter. This quarter, I'm super excited for our trip to France. We're going to the south of France for 2 weeks, me, my husband, and my 2 kiddos. My husband's dad lives there, so we'll get to see family. We'll go to the beach. We'll go to good restaurants. We have a babysitter there that comes and helps us out a lot of days. So, it's just going to be nice. This summer, it's all about like just enjoying everything that I'm working so hard for. So what are you excited for this quarter? I would love to hear it in the comments as well. So write it down for yourself, but also let us know so we can celebrate each other and let me know what you're excited for this quarter. Let's move to our wins from last quarter. I had a lot of wins from last quarter, I would say, because God is good all the time, all the time. Thank you. God is good. So one of them was Layla advancing in her letters and her literacy. They also did their swim classes this summer. They just finished last quarter. So that was good. They're really used to the water now. I'm happy that we did put them in their swim classes. And then another win, I would say, is I'm starting, I think, to really learn how I want to upgrade the quality of my video. So I've done a lot of brainstorming, a lot of thinking about that. And so I feel like that's a win. All right, so those were my wins from last quarter. What were your wins from last quarter? Take a second to pause and think about all the abundance you had for last quarter and really what you're grateful for. Next, let's talk about the lessons and challenges of this quarter. For me, specifically this last month has been trying on me and my soul, okay? I feel like I've been going through things and really taking time to reflect on what it's sent here to teach me. And I think it's all going to the theme of slowing down and appreciating life, really slowing down and appreciating life. So some of the challenges that have led me to these lessons have been my grandmother was placed on hospice. I actually went to Texas this past week to visit her. We were told to essentially come and say our goodbyes, which I'm not going to talk about a lot because it's still rightfully so, very emotional thing. So that was tough. I also took my gene test for the BRCA2 cancer gene. That didn't come back great. So now I got to think about, am I going to have surgery? Maybe removing my breast and my uterus. That's really heavy. But it's also a blessing, right? That I have this information and I'm empowered to do something about it. So that's been hard. And my kids were sick so much this past quarter, specifically this last month. Like, I think every week they were out 1 or 2 days, which when you have all these goals and you're following the 12-week year and you're trying to get things done, and then you have 2 days a week that you had planned to do stuff and can't do anything. And I even put a whole day buffer in my planner each week, because I never know when something in life is going to come up, but it just has not been enough. So those have been challenges for me and this quarter, and some of those things are out of my control and there's nothing I can do from them but take the lessons. So what were your challenges this quarter, and more importantly, what are the lessons that came out of those challenges that you can reflect on right now? Okay, so in this bottom part of this first page of quarterly planning, there's space to write down your macro goals. So those are typically your yearly goals or your moon goals, which are just another way of saying those larger than life goals. So that is our first page done for our quarterly planning. My mantra for this quarter is be for real. I think that is my mantra. Be realistic in my goals, be realistic in my expectations. My priority this quarter is my joy. I really want to get back to the basics of manifestation, which is prioritizing your vibe, because your vibe is your guide. It what leads you. And if you can focus on having fun and on being joyful, everything else is going to fall into place. It's about co-creating with your higher power and realizing you don't have control over everything. So you might as well have fun. And the more fun you have, the more you're going to attract to that. The more abundance you have, the more you're going to attract to that. All of those things. So my priority, I am definitely saying yes to mindfulness this quarter. I want to be more present. I want to be even more intentional if that's possible. What I'm saying no to this quarter is trying to control the journey. Like sometimes I would look at my ads or look at my YouTube statistics, and if it's not perfectly the way I want it, I get upset. And that's not why I'm doing a side business. I'm doing this to have fun and to create freedom in my life. So I really want to say no to anything that feels like I have to try to control everything. So pause this video, tell me, what is your mantra? What is your priority this quarter? What are you saying yes to, and what are you saying no to? Goals. What I like to do usually is set a goal for each macro goal, yearly moon goal that I have for the quarter, but you don't have to do that. You can prioritize things in different quarters. But for me, this is kind of working and it makes sense for me right now. So I'm going to set my goals for this quarter. My first goal is going to be based on my yearly goal, which is to prioritize joy. So I'll write that on the side. So I have a few different ways that I am going to prioritize my joy this quarter. The first one is I'm going to have a dry third quarter. I really want to not drink any alcohol, just kind of detox, let my body just, I don't want to say heal because I'm not a huge drinker, but I know how it affects your chances and your risk of cancer. I know it's just overall not good for you. And I really want to stop doing things that don't feed me back. So stop doing things that I know are not good for me. So outside of my vacation to the south of France, where I know I'm going to visit some wineries and things like that, I'm going to have a dry third quarter. I also want to join ClassPass. So I have stuck to my goals of working out here. I have the Peloton downstairs. We have a home gym, but I also want to go to some yoga classes, but I also want to go to Pilates classes. So I'm going to join ClassPass, and I also want to be more mindful. So I want to practice more. Sorry if you hear my kids. I want to practice more present mindfulness. My goals for family life are, I want to do 2 vlogs while we're in France, just very creative vlogs. So again, like I said, I'm not working while I'm there. I want to do 2 vlogs and also want to do a photo book. My goals for increasing my income this quarter are all around kind of prepping for Q4. So essentially in the planner world, most people buy planners like Q4 and Q1. So this Q3 gives me an opportunity to kind of prep up to that. I want to serve my email list. I want to make very high quality videos, and I want to provide a lot of value so people can trust me. Like I said, I also want to be more creative in my YouTube videos. I want to bring more of myself. I used to be a very creative person. I used to model a lot, which was a form of creativity for me. I used to do spoken word poetry, which was an outlet for me. I'm going to infuse both of those things now into my videos, and I just want to have more fun in my social media, period. As far as connecting more, I still want to focus on building my YouTube community. So I want to try to hit my goal of 3,000 subscribers. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, please do so. That's going to be my major goal as far as building community and connection this quarter. And my last goal, to read more. I'm really focused on, like I said, more joy. So I'm wanting to read more pleasurable books, more books that are fun, that tell a story. Right now I'm reading Oprah's book club book, which is really, really good. It's called The Covenant of Water. So I want to finish that this quarter. So those are my quarterly goals. Pause and take a moment to think about what are your goals for this quarter that are based on your yearly goals. And then lastly, I just want to share with you guys some of my favorites for the month of June, some of the things that really hit me. So the first things are sort of some revelations that have hit home with me. The first one is to fail fast. I got this message, I can't remember where, but this the concept is, you don't want to keep investing in something just because you've already been doing it before. Like for instance, I felt like I knew my last business was meant to be done a long time before it ended, but I was so tied to how much I had already put into it that I didn't allow myself to fail and learn and move on, and which cost me more. So even in this current business, if a marketing channel isn't working for me, if a strategy isn't working for me, I want to fail fast, let go, and move on instead of like clinging to something that isn't working. And then my last favorite was just my new packaging for my planners, which I'm so excited for. I was packaging just in an envelope, and I did other things to make it special. But now I have these new packaging boxes, which I'm so excited for. The outside you can see here, and then when you open it up, it looks like this on the inside, and then the planners sit here, which I put ribbon on and a nice little thank you card and such, and I usually do a handwritten note if I have time. I have really loved having these. It makes packing orders so much easier. So I'm really excited about these new boxes that we got. So that is my planning for this quarter. I'm going to sit down and plan my month based on my quarterly goals, and I would encourage you to do the same so you can stay on track with these goals, and that can inform your weekly planning as well. If you're looking for a more in-depth formula on how to use the 12-week year strategies to plan out your monthly, your weekly planning so that you can stay on track with your quarterly goals, I'll put here a video for you I did on an in-depth summary of the 12-week year and the 12-week year scorecard, so you can apply it to your own life and meet your goals much faster. Until next time, cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.